As we've been going through the series, Raising Financially Responsible Children, I've received a couple of questions from viewers that I'm going to answer today, in addition to one about sentimental children. Welcome to the Peaceful Home. I'm so glad you're here today. If you're new, I'm Teresa Elling, and I'm a professional organizer, parenting coach, wife, and homeschool mom to 6 graduated kids. We discuss all things home and family on this channel. Because this channel is such a reflection of my real life, it is not completely consistent. So when I do have family videos, they will be posted on Tuesdays, and home content is posted on Fridays. I can't guarantee new videos every single week, but I do my best and I appreciate your patience. As always, if there's a topic you would like to see me cover, please comment below and let me know. So this is going to be a very informal podcast style video. I'm just going to look at these questions. I have not studied these ahead of time. I don't have a pre-rehearsed answer. It'll just be like chatting with friends. So grab a cup of coffee. I've got my tea here, mainly because this is our first cold day in California, the end of October. It's been a long, hot season, but I'm actually a little chilly this morning. First question is from Frankie. Any advice for kids who make their own toys? Sorry, let me interject that this was a comment on the Sentimental Kids video in the Organizing with Kids series, and I will put that playlist down below. My 7-year-old is always using paper to make crowns, computers, boats, capes, etc. I love it. Then we have to keep them all because he's not done. They end up crumpled in a bin and it is junk to me, but not to him. And this is where I throw them away when he's at school. Frankie, thank you so much for your question. I just love that your son is so inventive and creative. When I think back to inventors like Henry Ford or Thomas Edison, I am sure those boys drove their mothers crazy. It's hard to encourage this type of creativity and still have a neat house, but I do think it can be done. I had several very creative children, and I was able to help kind of nurture their neat side. So it is possible. Honestly, the first thing I would tell you is give him his own space, a bin where he can put his creations, put a lid on it. Anything that fits in there is his. And you already have a bin. So it's another thing when you have a child that is putting their stuff all over the house. Everything has to be displayed. It's out on a table. And really, this can apply to things like Lego creations, other types of building, a dollhouse with all the different rooms and people. So many possibilities of little things that can get scattered all over your home. I'll give you a practical example. Our son absolutely loved Legos. And he was never done creating Legos. It was always a process. So we had a bin of Legos and we had an area where he could build. We would usually have a big beach towel or a blanket spread out so that when he was done building for the day, he could scoop all the Legos up and pour them back into the bin. Any project that Caleb was working on needed to be set up on a surface, often because he had little sisters that would get into things. It could stay there as long as he wanted, as long as there was room for it, and it stayed neat and tidy. A half-built castle is totally different than a bunch of random blocks sitting around. Another great idea is under the bed storage, where the kids can pull out. In this case, your son could have all of his paper, his scissors, his glue, whatever it is that he uses to create, and then the lid goes back on, or the whole thing just gets pushed back under the bed when he's done. And if the rule is that I don't want to see it out, I don't want to see a mess, then that takes care of itself. It's available anytime he wants to use it, and it's not in your way. Now, I would encourage you from time to time to go through the bin with him. Let him look at old things that maybe have gotten further rumpled or ruined, and help him to see, well, these things now are trash. We can throw these away and still keep all of these other items for you to work on. It's a process to help kids recognize what is trash and what is not. The problem with a builder creator is that everything has potential. And I would say that you have an important job to really help them hone their skills and their creativity. We live on a 10-acre ranch, and I'm a professional organizer. I like things neat and tidy. But we are one of those people, like you see farmers and ranchers that save everything. Our barn is a disaster because there's leftover beams, there's old shingles, there's old metal roofing, all of it that could be used somewhere on the property. I have to admit right now that stuff is rather unorganized. So for me, I was just talking to my husband about this. I don't mind keeping it if we can get it straightened up and have it in an orderly fashion. And that's kind of what we want for our kids. We want them to have the supplies they need to create, but you don't want to have to worry about anyone in the family stepping on crumpled paper, staples, or even paper clips. Now, I will address really quickly the whole thing of throwing things away when he's gone. At his age, he's still learning the difference between trash and treasure. And I know that he probably thinks it's all treasure, but if you can, throw away things that get left out, and that could be part of the agreement. If everything's in your bin, great. If you leave anything out, mom can decide to get rid of it. And if that's the rule of the house, then it's completely up to him. I do have a video on what to do when your kids leave their stuff all over the house. This is my cure. It works so amazingly well to get your kids to clean up their stuff. So I'll link that video below as well. But I don't see a huge problem in throwing away what is genuinely trash. There is a risk of breaking trust with your son. And I know that's why you're asking, because you don't want to do that and you're trying to find that fine line. If it gets to a point where the bin is too full and some things just have to go, the one thing I would recommend is do it slowly. Talk about it day after day without actually pushing him to throw anything away yet. It allows him to process mentally over several days, prepare his heart that it's not going to be as horrible as he thinks, and then you do it together with some guidance and make it a fun experience. Don't make it horrible where he ends up in tears. Slow and steady, it's a learning process. These next two questions came out of the series on raising financially responsible children. This one is from I'm Luna. I love your series on money so far and have implemented some things already. I just have a hard time letting her spend her money on whatever she wants. She just had her birthday party and is turning 4 in less than a week, so she has quite a bit of money. Should I just let go and let her figure it out? The types of things I'm talking about is a $15 decorative pumpkin. I have already coached her out of a few decisions already. So thank you for your question. I would say that at the age of 4, they are just beginning to learn to manage money. You do want to give them the freedom to spend on what they want, but a birthday is a bit of an exception. When you kind of control their allowance and the jobs that they're able to do for pay, you know that they're not making $100 in a week. But when they get birthday money, that's a little different. I would encourage you to take the bulk of birthday money and decide together if there is something big that she needs, like a winter coat or something like that, and have her help you pick it out. But for the most part, I would probably put the bulk of that money into a savings account and then give her a portion that she is free to spend however she likes. So let's say that she received $75 from a couple different family members. You could put $50 in her savings account and then tell her that she has $25 to spend. And if she wants a $15 pumpkin, let her do it. You know, if you can talk her out of it in a gentle way, or even lead her to another decision, like, oh, well, what about this? Another thing that works great with kids is you can make a list. Let's think of the different things that you could spend your money on. So when you're out and she sees this pumpkin and it's fall and that's what's on her brain and she's excited about something, oh, that's a great choice. Let's write that on your list. And then maybe you're in another store and you see A puzzle that she likes. Ooh, the puzzle would be fun. Let's write that on your list. And give her a couple of days to really process, because again, for her at the age of 4, $25 is a lot of money. And this goes hand in hand with my suggestion that for large purchases, you do the 24-hour rule. And that is having them wait at least a day. And if they still really want that item, then you can take them back to the store to get it. At the age of 4, maybe you're going to make that for a couple of days. You're going to make the list, and then you're going to let her decide. If she's looking at 4 different things that she really loves, and the pumpkin is just it, she's got to have it, it's her birthday money. Let her spend it. Let her enjoy that. Then she'll also have to decide, what is she going to do with the pumpkin? It's going to have to, it can be displayed in her room. But now maybe Christmas is coming, and so the pumpkin needs to get put away. It's a seasonal thing, so it needs to go in your special box. If she has room in her special box, great, she can keep it. She may quickly decide, nope, I'm done with the pumpkin. And if it sits in her room for a while and you keep asking about it and she doesn't seem to care, then you can either encourage her to donate it, or if she's at a point, again, she's so young. If a child this young is showing no interest in something and you can just take it and donate it and they don't even notice, I honestly do not see a problem with that. That is very different than taking something that is very precious and important to them and discarding it. I would never advise that. That's why they have their special box and their keepsake box, and it should go in there. It sounds like you're doing a great job of helping her look at these decisions, look at these wants, and evaluate them. So keep going with that. Well, we're coming up on our last question for today. And I would encourage you, whenever you have a question for me, please comment below. If I can give a brief answer, I will. If it's something I think might be helpful to other parents, then I will save it for a Q&A like this one. If you're new here and you haven't subscribed, I would encourage you to do that. Hit that notification bell. And if you enjoyed today's video, please hit that thumbs up button. So I have another question from Frankie. Frankie, thanks so much for watching and commenting. I'm not sure exactly which video this was on, but it's for the finance series. This was great. Love the ideas. Question: what would you do if a kid saves up and wants to buy a toy? You mentioned in another video that you have a toy closet with a checkout system. Do the toys go in there? What if the closet or their individual special box is already full? I think I would feel bad purging a toy that one kid bought for another toy the next kid bought. Great question, and that does pertain to the toy closet video, Organizing Toys Children, and the keepsake box. So again, check the playlist below if you missed those videos. I'm just going to share a little bit more about what we did in our family. We had a toy closet. Almost all of the toys were available for checkout. On occasion, when there was a special toy that a sibling bought or a birthday gift, for example, we would ask them, should we put the Clue board game into the game closet? Typically, they would say, yeah, put it in there for checkout. If they really don't want their siblings messing with it at all, then they can put it in their room. I would allow my kids to have just an area, a shelf where they could put things. This isn't exactly their keepsake box. It's just a spot in their room where they can put some things that belong to them. Now, my children could not touch belongings of another sibling without permission. And that's a very important boundary to teach. And we don't want to have this thing of you have to share everything, which then entitles children to demand you have to share that with me. We don't want that with our kids. I found that most of the time when they said, sure, it can go in the checkout closet, at least for a while, we would say, hey, the new building set. Caleb, are you okay if the girls check this out? And he might say, yeah, that's fine. Or, no, I would rather they didn't unless I played with them, or something like that. And we would just be respectful. Usually over time, that thing just ended up belonging with the family toys. And again, if it was something really important, they would keep it in their room. So even if something was available for anyone in the family to check out, it doesn't mean that I would get rid of it without that child's permission. But if we were cleaning out our toy and game closet and all the kids are evaluating what are we playing with, what are we not, what are we going to donate, and all of a sudden we look at the battleship game that so-and-so got for Christmas and they really love it, but nobody's playing it anymore. That child now has the choice to either donate it or put it in their keepsake box. But if we've all decided that no one really plays it, we're not going to keep it in the toy checkout closet. So I hope that makes sense. I would never just make the decision, we're getting rid of this toy that you got for your birthday or that you spent your own money on. That would be up to that child to decide, no, I think it should stay in the checkout closet, or I'm going to put it in my keepsake box because it's something I want to remember forever, or until they purge through their keepsake box. The thing that I love about the keepsake box is it does act as a bit of a holding bin. A child might not be ready to get rid of something. They put it in their keepsake box, but when that is getting full and they have to go through it, they might say, I don't need to keep Battleship. Yeah, it was fun, but it's not that important to me. And so maybe a year or 2 or 3 later, they're willing to donate the game, but you did not force that upon them. Well, that's it for our Q&A today. I hope you'll keep those questions and comments coming. I really feel it's a privilege to interact with you guys. And thank you so much for watching. Thanks for joining me today for this episode of The Peaceful Home. Have a great day.